Amy, we're on.
Yeah.
The broadcast has begun.
Welcome to Over the Ledge Live, the podcast, the number one, and some say only, political satire show based solely on the Texas Legislature. I hear we're getting some cold weather this Halloween weekend. Where do you think Ted Cruz is hiding to escape it? Malibu?
Setting the tone early. Thank you. Thank you.
Not
Amy.
what you can expect. Over the Ledge gives you a behind-the-scenes look at the shenanigans of the Texas Legislature by decoding political headlines and legislators' behavior into easy-to-understand single ant jokes. We're just as funny, but not as famous yet. Let's meet our guest tonight. First up, we have our beloved Aaron Salinas. Aaron is an actor, writer, director, and podcaster with the passion for good times, fun vibes, and the Spurs glory days. You can catch him on his podcast, Shame Watch, or streaming video games on Twitch with The Con Save. Welcome, Aaron Salinas.
Hey, everybody. Happy Halloween if you celebrate. Happy to be here. Oh, that's a good look. You get to see my little punchy Hawaiian punch phone, $5 at the Dr. Pepper Museum. I feel like my dad bragging about how much I didn't pay for stuff.
And what costume are you, Aaron?
Oh, it's a little obscure, but I'm number 2 from Codename Kids Next Door. It's a cartoon from the early 2000s.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. And second, we have a very special guest for you, Jess Scott. Jess is a native Texan and comedic artist. She has a BFA in theater performance. She spent 7 years in Chicago performing improv and interactive theater. And she's brand new to Austin's stand-up comedy scene. Jess is currently directing, hosting, and putting on its feet Skivvy's ATX, Austin's only scantily clad improv show. Follow Skivvy's ATX on Instagram for premiere details. Welcome to the show, Jess Scott.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. And I was a big fan of Kids Next Door. So Aaron, that Halloween costume is speaking to me.
Oh, thank goodness. It made sense to someone.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
What are you wearing, Jess?
I'm a skeleton.
Yes, you are.
My husband and I matched this year, and this was the easiest thing. So we're a skeleton.
Love it.
Tonight, our very special celebrity guest is lobbyist Andrew Cates. Andrew Cates is the owner of Cates Legal Group and the author of Texas Ethics Laws Annotated, the first and only complete legal annotation of campaign finance and lobby laws in Texas. 7th edition out soon at andrewcates.com. Cates primarily practices in campaign and political law, where he assists candidates, political action committees, and nonprofits in local, state, and federal elections and campaigns. Welcome to the show, Andrew.
Hey, thanks, everybody. Thanks for having me. I also dressed up for Halloween. You can see I'm clearly a douchey frat guy.
Awesome.
Yay!
And to be fair, I'm also a douchey frat guy, so that tracks.
We've been trying to increase diversity on our podcast. So thank you for being the first douchey frat guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm helping out. I'm raising the levels up. You're welcome.
Awesome. And finally, we have the creator and the ruler of the Over the Ledge Empire, who needs no introduction, Stephanie. Want to change the Texas Constitution? Then vote on November 2nd. Chiarello.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm a cat, but I'm also Shelby Slauson. And those of you who've ever, let me give you some dead eye here.
There you go.
There it is. Oh my God.
Shelby, is that you?
Oh gosh, I have to go incognito.
Stephanie, you almost missed it. We had Shelby Slauson here.
Oh man. I hate, we never seem to be in the room at the same time.
She zoomed right in over you.
Well, if you liked Amy's Halloween jokes, get ready for a monologue filled of even more. You want to know what happened recently in the Texas Legislature, everyone?
Lay it on us.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. The Texas Ledge passed its first college campus construction bill in 6 years. Speaking of schools, why did the ghost quit college?
Why?
He was too ghoul for school. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick wants to call lawmakers back for a fourth special session. I think he's just lonely. He's like a mummy. I hear they don't have any friends because they're too wrapped up in themselves.
Oh.
All right. Beto O'Rourke is rumored to I can't talk. Beto O'Rourke is rumored to formally announce his candidacy for governor on October 31st, Halloween. His campaign slogan, "Let's give him pumpkin to talk about."
Jesus, are we really going back to back to back on all?
These are all puns. Okay.
I feel like I was bait and switched into this. Good Lord.
It gets worse. Over a dozen House seats are open heading into 2022. State Rep Dan Huberty is one who announced his retirement after being arrested earlier this year for drunk driving. He's such a bad driver, even ghosts who ride with him make sure to fasten their sheet belts.
Oh,
Woo!
Sheet belt.
keep on coming.
I got four more. Lawmakers decided to use, see how we're learning? Okay. Lawmakers decided to use American Rescue Plan funds to increase Texas's homestead exemption. That's right, $176 a year is coming back to you, with no plans on how to fund the gap in the future. Critics say lawmakers could have done more with the funds, but kind of like skeletons, they had no guts.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh. Still there, Andy?
Go for it.
I'll see y'all later. This has been fun.
Someone get Aaron's wiener on the phone.
Got
Okay.
it.
Texas abortion ban goes to the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday. It feels like Texas pro-lifers only care about children until they are born. Just ask yourself, why aren't we passing laws to improve child safety? Who are we even helping? Who are we even paying to help our little pumpkins cross the street? Crossing gourds?
Man,
That was actually pretty good.
That was a long way to go for that one.
She really did cross a lot of streets to get
Yeah,
there.
but I will say, in her defense, not a lot of gourd jokes.
No.
So
Cracked
I'll
open a
take
whole new wing.
Okay, two more. This one's going to get me investigated by the FBI, and I welcome that. Governor Greg Abbott signed off on the law policing transgender student sports participation, which the White House called hateful. It didn't bother Greg, though, because he's like a vampire. The only way to get through to his heart is to stab it with a stake.
you ain't wrong, though.
All right, one more. Andy's still there. Great. Despite people of color making up 95% of Texas's population growth the past decade, approved Texas redistricting maps decrease their voting power and make incumbents safer in future elections. It's a real Frankenstein of maps. Speaking of, what is Frankenstein's monster's favorite dessert?
What?
Ice cream! Ice cream! Thank you. That's what I got. Halloween edition of Over the Ledge. Thank you.
Before we hear our wait,
Oh my God, we didn't say those
I
parts.
forgot that part. I'll say it in a minute. First, I'll say this. Stephanie, I have only one word for you and those punny Halloween-themed jokes. Boo!
Oh,
Okay.
This is the night. Okay.
Before we move on to our games, we're going to take a special moment to thank our sponsors. We are 66% of our way towards our $10,000 goal. And if you're so inspired, please support us by becoming a sponsor at bit.ly OTL 2021 fundraiser. No pressure. We are just glad you're here. I mean, you can tell your friends about us, but really, we're just glad you're here. And thank you to the Dina Jo Hyde of Dieselin Foundation, Braden Frame, Stephanie's mom and dad, Catherine and Craig, super fans, Brett and Christina, Carla J. Ackerson, Andrew Durham, April Shapley, Audrey Wick, the Banner family, Sherry Nappy, Carrie Tilton-Jones, and 7 other wonderful anonymous donors. Okay, audience, let me tell you how this podcast works. On tonight's episode, Aaron and Jess are competing against each other for the coveted Most Knowledgeable Comedian in Austin award. Comedians, please be aware that you can each phone a friend 3 times if you are stuck on a question. And by friend, we mean frat boy Andrew Cates. This award is given to the comedian who knows the most about Texas politics, according to the outcomes of the games on our show. Stephanie, show the award. Yep. That good.
I have yet to touch it, and I've won it like twice. I just want to point that out.
Whoever wins gets their picture taken with our special guest, Andrew Cates, and Andrew will post the picture on his social media, announcing that the winning comedian is Most Knowledgeable Comedian Austin. Stephanie, did we ask Andrew if he's okay with this?
No. Did you hear him? He just said, really?
I just wanted to say, if Andrew posts a guy looking like me on his social media, you're going to get a lot of questions, sir.
It's part of his community service for that last frat party.
Make sure to Photoshop a bunch of balloons behind you.
Yeah. Fall is finally here in Austin, and so is Halloween. What's scarier, the Texas Legislature or Halloween? Let's find out in the multiple choice game, Spooky, Scary Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. Spooky, scary. Boys becoming men, men becoming wolves. That's a callback from 30 Rock. Of course I did.
Oh my God. Okay.
As always, comedians can ask our special guests for help a total of 3 times apiece between the 2 games that they play. And Andrew, please feel free to jump in at any time, but don't give anything away. We really want our comedians to sweat it. All right. Stephanie?
Let's get going. Jess, you're going to be up first. Are you ready to play Spooky, Scary Werewolf Bar Mitzvah?
I am.
It doesn't have the same ring as Price is Right. I just want to point that out.
Okay. Who is said to haunt the governor's mansion? Jess, you get 4. I'm going to give you 4. A young Texas scout and a girl who was a Comanche. Ann Richards' beloved Pekingese dog, Chowder. Sam Houston or Governor Abbott's soul?
I undeniably have to go with the last answer, Governor Abbott's soul, because even though they are one now, I have a feeling they separate at night, and he does he does even more evil things after the hours of midnight, after the witching hour. So I'm gonna sync with Governor Abbott's soul.
You know, I'm going to give you half a point because I think you made a really good point. The real answers were Sam Houston and the Texas scout and a young girl, his lover, who was a Comanche, who were forbidden from being together.
Oh.
You gave her the option of 2 right questions, and she still got it wrong.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Well, I think she got it right.
Oh, she got a half point, I guess. Right?
I'm the comedian here.
To be
He's
fair,
just in character.
I didn't know the answer to that either.
It's not like she's an exorcist.
So they're like a Romeo and Juliet type situation.
I think so. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay, and then here's a bonus. Do you think that this is spooky, scary, or werewolf bar mitzvah?
Definitely werewolf bar mitzvah.
Excellent. Any answer is correct. I just want to say that over and over again. So great. That's a bonus point. All right, Aaron. You're going to hate me because I always give you the hard ones. A new redistricting map passed the Lege last week and at the end of the 3rd special session. Republicans drew new lines to protect their power and weaken the political clout of the growing population of Black and Hispanic voters who tend to vote Democratic. One silver lining for Texas Democrats is what? A, the new map creates 2 new districts that are mainly Democratic. B, if you shine a black light on it, the new map spells out the words, all right, all right, all right. C, Democratic lawmakers added an amendment that recycles old maps and uses them as cage liners in animal shelters. Or D, the new map is drawn specifically to protect incumbent Republicans rather than just adding more Republican legislatures in future elections.
God, that sounds like a shitty silver lining. Like, that's just awful. I hope it's not B, because then McConaughey might feel welcome to be governor, and I do not want that personally. I think he's just going to sign off on things that he hasn't really read, which he's a politician, so he might. I think it's A, because we did get two. We grew, as in Texas grew. So I think it makes sense that we got 2 extra seats, and I knew we grew in metropolitan areas, so those typically go Democratic. So I'm gonna say A.
Wrong.
Gee, I meant D.
Oh, D is right. D is
I meant
right.
D.
Who told you
Sorry.
D?
I had a twitch.
All right. Yes, D. They protected their incumbents, but at least they didn't make any more Republican districts. Okay, here you can answer the bonus. Is this spooky, scary, or werewolf bar mitzvah?
It's shitty.
Excellent. 1/2 point. Okay, back to you, Jess. Who
Aaron
is
wants to touch that trophy? He just wants to touch that trophy so hard.
I don't ask for much in this life.
Look at that.
Oh, you're just showing off at this point.
Right in front of your face.
And don't forget, you can ask Andy. He knows all these answers.
Thank
He
you.
didn't know the
Or
first
his
one. He openly
name
admitted it.
isn't douchebag frat boy. Okay, Jess, who is not said to haunt the state capitol building? Robert Love, state comptroller who was murdered by a former employee named Bill Hill. A young woman in a red dress who claims herself to be of, quote, of Abbott. Governor Edmund Jackson Davis, whose piercing blue eyes enchant you. Or D, Lizzie Borden, infamous alleged murderer of her father and stepmother with an axe.
Can you repeat B? I couldn't hear it. I'm sorry.
That's all right. A young woman in a red dress who claims herself to be of Abbott.
Oh man, is this a true crime podcast all of a sudden?
I thought you said a wabbit. What? That can't be what she said. And she suddenly got like a speech difference, like she thought she was a
A
wabbit.
ghost with a speech impediment. That's adorable.
I think I believe the answer. I think it's A, but can you repeat A one more time?
Yes, A is Robert Love, state comptroller who was murdered by a former employee, Bill Hill.
I'm going to go with that because it's super dark. I just want to know if I feel instincts. Something's pulling me that way. I'm going with A.
You're wrong. It's D, Lizzie Borden. Robert Love, this is the only man who was murdered in the Capitol. Yes, he was shot by a former employee. This is in like 1903 or something. True
But
story.
he's not haunting it, though?
No,
fun
he
fact,
is.
He is.
he is.
He's the only one who's
Yeah.
not. Okay. Got it.
The woman in the red dress was actually in the office that I worked in the Capitol. Not like at the same time, obviously, but it's like years and years and years ago. But yeah, she fell down there's a secret stairwell that goes from the library in the Capitol, right behind the door I guess in front of or behind Santa Anna's desk in the legislative library.
Mm-hmm.
There's a secret circular spiral staircase up to the 4th floor to a legislator's office.
Ooh.
And the story is that she was having an affair with legislator, and his wife came up, and she tried to run out and escape down the stairs and tripped and fell and died.
Wow.
And she haunts it.
Dang.
And the lady
Never
who's a
seen her?
wabbit is in the office next door.
It's the wabbit. Yeah, the wabbit.
Did you ever see her or feel her or any of the people who haunt the Capitol?
No,
Andy?
but we definitely opened that door and tried to go up and down it and everything. It's sketchy.
Wow.
So I never tried it in a dress personally.
Yeah.
And what I hear is there's a chance you will.
I don't know. I feel like he's just saying that to save face. That's a rumor already out there.
I
He's trying
would
to get out
own
front
it.
of
I would own it, Aaron.
All right, Jess, you know the bonus question: spooky, scary, or werewolf bar mitzvah?
100% scary. That is a scary. That is
You
scary.
got it. You got
That
it.
is scary.
All right, Aaron. In the new redistricting map, Republicans lowered the number of House districts with a majority of Hispanic voters from 33 to 30 and Senate districts from 8 to 7. Since 2010, half of Texas's 4 million new residents are Hispanic. Of the 4 million new residents to the state, what percentage were people of color? And I'll read you some answers.
I was gonna say you gave me a lot of numbers, so I'm already sweaty.
Okay.
I need.
Okay,
some
the
options.
question is, of the 4 million new people we counted in the census in Texas, what percentage were people of color? 65, 75, 80, or 95%? And Andy's right there,
Yeah.
but he's
No, he's
looking
not.
not
No, he's
confident.
not.
Not
Refusing to
confident at
help.
all.
I feel like it's gonna be a high number, but I also feel like I wouldn't be surprised. I kind of want to say, what was C?
80.
And B was 75.
Yeah, so it went 65, 75, 80, 95%.
Oh, you're trying to throw me off with that 80. It's the only one that's not in a 5. And you knew I only got through college by answering C on everything. So I don't.
I know.
I'm going against my gut. I'm saying B.
I'm so sorry. It's 95%.
Oh
D.
my gosh.
95% of our growth were people of color, and they got 0 more districts. They got -3 more districts.
No representation.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
But hey, you got a state with the Buckies, so that's cool.
that's cool. And there is already a lawsuit filed by the Mexican American Defense and Education Fund charging that the map is discriminatory to Latino voters. So
It literally
Not
just
set in
says
stone.
bullshit on there. Like we're suing because this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Andy's the lawyer. Is that what the amicus brief deposition looked like?
Yeah, it's actually 15 pages, but every word is just bullshit. Yeah.
It's just different turds on every page.
Yeah, they draw each district and just write bullshit. Okay, Aaron, spooky, scary, or werewolf bar mitzvah?
I'm gonna say it's werewolf bar mitzvah because I've never been to a werewolf bar mitzvah. Still dying to. But it sounds like it'd be kind of terrifying. So
Yeah. Boys becoming men, men
Men
becoming
becoming
wolves. Okay. I just hope NBC doesn't get a hold of this particular podcast.
Short.
hey, but
I know.
what a great look for us.
Yeah. Okay, Jess.
Howdy.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick issued a $25,000 reward with the wabbits. What's
With the
wrong with me?
wabbit.
What? It's the mask, even though it doesn't cover my mouth. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick issued a $25,000 reward to tipsters who uncovered credible instances of voter fraud. One tipster did turn in a man for voting twice. Who did the fraudulent voter vote for in the 2020 presidential election? Your choices are A, Biden, B, Trump, C, a write-in candidate, or D, Howie Hawkins, who is not the lead singer of a band. That was, in fact, the Green Party candidate.
Ooh. Can I phone a friend?
You may. But only one friend, and his name is Andy Cates.
Andy, frat boy. What are? Can you
What?
give me some advice on this one?
Yeah. So, have you heard this story?
I have not.
He's Googling stuff. I can see him.
So I was okay. Weird flex, but I was actually quoted in this Dallas Morning News article about
Wow.
this.
Okay.
All right, I'll allow
So it was a guy from Pennsylvania. And I guess I can just like tell you, right?
Yeah, you can just give him the answer.
The link to the other show that you sent me, Stephanie, was the reporter that like just gave super vague answers on this and wanted to make everybody sweat. And so I was like, I don't know, I can make a sweat, I guess.
You can.
The guy. So you're asking, who did the guy that turned him in vote for?
No, who did the fraudulent voter vote for?
The fraudulent voter was Republican.
Wow.
Is
The guy
that
that
your
turned him in
final
is a
answer,
Democrat.
Jess? Oh,
So wait, say that again. And the guy
So
who
the guy that turned him in is a Democrat.
Wow. So yes, that is my final answer. Trump. Yes.
Trump.
A
You
Republican.
got it. A Republican.
Wow.
Yeah, Republican.
A Republican.
A wascally Republican.
So apparently the 72-year-old voted for Trump and then returned to the same polling location acting as his son and voted again. Is that accurate, Andy?
Yeah, and apparently he's trying to turn around and like sue them back on like defamation or something, because he apparently the guy who turned him in, his dad was working the polls and is the one that turned him away. Yeah, it gets way deeper. It's weird, but
and he's somehow like, I am my own son. I am my own son. You know, like, we don't know how that inbred shit worked, but it worked somehow. He is his own son. He's also 72, so
it's a Back to the Future scenario.
/ Benjamin Button situation.
Great. Okay, Jess. Spooky, scary, or werewolf bar mitzvah?
that is definitely werewolf bar mitzvah.
Yes, it is. So many twists and turns. All right, last question in this game, Aaron.
I just want to point out that every question I've gotten, Andy has been like, no, don't look at me. And you give Jess one that he is quoted on in the Dallas Morning News. Fuck me, right? Okay, go on, ask your question.
Who represents House District 30? I'm joking.
Okay.
Who has died while in the Capitol building? A. Ed Wheeler, a painter who fell approximately 160 feet to his death while painting the inside of the rotunda on December 13th, 1922. B. A 23-year-old man who was a horse trainer from New Caney who was friends with the lieutenant governor's daughter died in a fire in 1983 inside the Capitol in the lieutenant governor's quarters. C. Justice. Or D, Robert Love, state comptroller, murdered by a former employee. And there is a little bit of a trick question here so that you don't think I'm bullying you. There is also answer E, all of the above.
Oh, shit. Well, I know Justice has died there. And I only recently learned that Robert Love of the Love's Truck Stop has died in there. Mm-hmm. That is a rumor I'm willing to die on. And oh god, I really don't like how many people have died in my state's capital. It's really unnerving if E is the correct answer. So I'm gonna say E.
You're correct.
I don't like that. I don't like that my house is safer than the Capitol.
You really
I got no security, y'all. I barely got insurance.
At least you don't have a secret staircase. That would really make sense.
That's right. Well, you should. Andy, I don't know if you know that much about the fire in the lieutenant governor's apartment, but it almost burned the whole Capitol down, which I know Jess is like, what? It's made of granite, except for the wood interior. Okay. All that old wood.
And he dropped that doobie.
Well, that's
sparked it.
Well, it depends on who you believe, but I read one thing on the internet, so I know it's true. That pretty much they said the daughter and this guy were doing drugs or smoking, and that they, by accident set the house on fire. But what they ended up doing was saying the TV had short circuited, and they sued the maker of the TV for faulty circuiting up. Yeah.
The front door.
I really hope the article said there were two marijuanas inside of that room at that time.
That's right.
That's why it's still illegal.
To this day. Okay, Aaron, spooky, scary. Our last chance to say it. Werewolf bar mitzvah.
Werewolf bar mitzvah. It's fun to say.
Of course it is. All right. Excellent. Good game, everyone. How did our people do, Amy?
They are tied. Neck and neck.
Perfect for Halloween.
Wow, I feel honored. I feel like I'm one step closer to touching that trophy.
I think you are, Jess.
Jess, I really don't want to start enemies on the first day of meeting someone, but you're cutting it close. I just want to point that out.
I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna lick it. I'm gonna lick boobs on it. I'm gonna lick it.
Stephanie, if you let her lick it, we're done.
Wow.
No more Tex-Mex Joes.
But that's our place.
That is our place. That is our cheers.
Wow. Everybody knows. Shh, don't say it. Okay, Amy, take us into the next game.
Oh, that's right. The next game is called... Oh, wait. Hold on. As we mentioned earlier, our special guest, Andrew Cates, is the author of Texas Ethics Laws Annotated, the first and only complete legal annotation of campaign finance and lobby laws in Texas. I know. You're surprised as I am to learn that Texas has ethics laws. What are they? And why? And for whom? Now it's time to play Catch Me If You Can.
Okay, so here we go. Jess, back to you. As Amy just said, our guest, Andy Cates, is author of Texas Ethics Law Annotated, a guide to ethic laws in Texas. Given that Texas politicians are very concerned about acting ethically in their public service, how many other guides may they choose from? 5, 9, 1, or none? And the question is, how many books do they have that they can reference about their impeccable ethics? 5, 9, 1, or none. And the very author of the thing is here with us.
Ooh, probably just one then.
Wait, John Carpenter, the director of The Thing, is here?
Yes, Jess, I think what you mean to say is 0. There are no other guides other than...
Oh, you're right. There are
That
absolutely
you're
no
correct.
other guides. None.
You got it. He
Thank
wrote the
you.
one and only. You're welcome.
Does that put me one step closer to licking that trophy? For
Yes,
sure.
it does.
It does.
Correct. Thank
It really
you.
does. It really does. We can have a licking party.
Yeah, exactly. We're in phase 2, so we can.
Yeah, we can. It could be a
This took a
TikTok
turn.
viral. Yeah.
She put that cat costume and just put all about licking.
Yeah, man, she's headed full Carol Baskin now.
I didn't kill anyone. Okay, you're right. Andy Cates' book is the only one, and this is the book that Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick reads at night before he goes to sleep. How does that make you feel, Andy?
I feel like I need to cut you a check for all this press you're giving me here. Good Lord.
All right, Aaron.
Andy, you're the author of one of 2 books that Texas politicians have read, the other being the Bible, because that's the only thing they
That's what I
face.
was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
Speaking of ethics, Aaron, Attorney General Ken Paxton is being investigated by the State Bar of Texas for his role in attempting to overturn the 2020 election results. What other corruption charges are Paxton facing already? A, under investigation by the FBI for allegedly using the power of the Attorney General's office to help a wealthy donor. B, facing separate felony securities fraud charges in an ongoing case. C, co-defendant in a plagiarism case brought by Kelly Willis against his wife Angela Paxton for her original song, Pistol Packin' Mama. Or D, A, and several Bs.
So I know my answers, particularly because Andy laughed, and I'm going with that one because he's probably like, "Oh, that's how she fit it in. That's how
that was cold-blooded, Stephanie."
But I actually saw a video of Ken Paxton the other day on YouTube, and I was watching it, and he kind of looks like a botched Chucky doll, like in the Chucky manufacturing company. Like he just looks kind of like he's not a nice guy. But I'm gonna say D.
You're exactly right. Very good. You got it. No quib after that. You got it. Okay, now we're getting way into the weeds here about running for office. Okay, Jess?
All right.
It's getting really intense.
Really intense. What's up? Okay, before you file an application for a place on the ballot, announce your intent to run for public office or solicit or accept contributions or make expenditures, you must A, get 500 signatures on a petition, B, show proof of citizenship, C, file a campaign treasurer appointment, or D, pass a background check.
Can you repeat C? Treasurer appointment, did you say?
File a campaign treasurer appointment. Which does not mean an appointment with a campaign treasurer. It means declare that you have a campaign treasurer by filing that you have appointed this person.
Huh.
And you also point at them. And then you've appointed them.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Andy's shaking his head.
Well, can I still turn to a friend? Or can I still phone an Andy?
Yeah,
Amy?
you still have some
Yes.
left.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Andy, can you help me out on this one?
The very simple, easy one, shockingly, is not background check. But yeah, it's C. It's campaign treasurer.
Holy moly! Okay, then I'd like to have my final answer be C, that campaign treasurer.
You got it. And look, you're learning, Jess.
I am so glad to be here. I'm putting all Texas natives to shame. They're like, someone shut this stoner up. Like, get out of here, kid. You're talking about being in the weeds. I was like, girl, I've been in the weeds.
And that's what set the attorney. That's what set the lieutenant governor's apartment on fire.
It probably is. Okay, Aaron, which of the following are not considered campaign contributions? A, donations to a candidate at a fundraiser. B, a promise to give a candidate money. C, an item donated to be auctioned at a fundraiser. Or D, an endorsement from an elected official.
Which is not?
Right. One of those is not like the other. One of those things doesn't belong.
I've watched Sesame Street. I know. I think D.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at me. Look at me.
Good.
Looking good. So, Andy, what are the biggest mistakes candidates make about campaign contributions?
Which, it was funny, Stephanie, you're reading those off, and I was like, I don't know, man. There's some gray area in there. We'll see. I mean, in taking contributions, some of the things they really have to worry about are there's what's called a moratorium, and they cannot take any money at all between 30 days before legislative session starts and 20 days after. And that's specifically 20 days after session ends. And that's specifically to try to, theoretically, to stop corruption, paying for votes. The big story on that is that, God, Stephanie, what was it? Who was it? Was it Colonel Sanders? That story?
Colonel Sanders?
Yeah. Like that chicken guy, the actual chicken guy.
With the little arms and body.
Yeah. So, no, it wasn't Colonel Sanders. Who was that? No, Bo Pilgrim. That's what it was. It was Bo Pilgrim.
Okay.
The chicken guy. He actually literally walked around on the Senate floor before a big vote on like chicken farms or something. And he literally put $10,000 checks on the desks of every senator right before the vote. Wow. And clearly he got the vote. And so that's why that went into place. He was like, all right, no, let's kill that. That's super sketchy.
That's awful, but what a flex, dude. Like,
I know. And apparently he skipped one person because he didn't like him, and that person raised holy hell about it.
They were like, wait a second, where's my bribe?
Yeah, where's my chicken money? Right?
Yeah.
Where's that sweet, sweet chicken money?
Yeah.
oh, I love that, dude. Like, oh,
It's crazy.
Sketchy.
I mean, like, yeah, it's super sketchy. And you never really think of like Bo Bogram as an actual person that walks around with checks for people. But, you know,
I mean, he's
yeah,
a
it happens.
pilgrim. he helped us make friends with the Indians.
He didn't even use
God.
a cell phone. It was crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Aaron, is it back to you or back to Jess?
Back to Jess.
Jess. Okay. Which of the following is not
wait, no,
considered-
I didn't answer that. That wasn't me.
Yeah, no, you did the last one. Remember, you got it right.
the endorsement from an elected
Yeah.
official? That was Jess, right? Or
Yeah, that was Jess.
Aaron.
Because I
Campaign treasurer
answered.
with no. This one you did. You probably
Yeah,
haven't
you did
even.
that. You got it.
It's back to Jess. It's back. To
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. I just keep getting screwed over in this game. I try and make sure it's level.
Poor
I
guy.
see you. I see
Get it right without any help. Oh, I get screwed over.
Jess. Yeah, snowflake much? Okay, Jess.
Yes.
Which of the following is not considered a campaign expenditure, which means money you can spend from your campaign? A, paying a filing fee for a place on the ballot. Website hosting for your campaign website. Renting a hotel ballroom for a campaign rally. Renting a hotel room for your mistress while at a campaign event. Or E, renting a hotel room for your staff while at a campaign event. Which one is not allowed?
I believe the answer is A.
Paying for a filing fee for a place on the ballot.
No.
I didn't.
Can you repeat B?
B is website hosting. C is renting a hotel ballroom.
Okay, I'll be honest. I'm having a hard time because I feel like paying for your mistress is not the right answer, but I also feel like it's allowed, 100% allowed. Like every good accountant knows. But
Like, it's not frowned upon, but like you shouldn't do it kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's going to happen. But I guess I will go with the mistress, paying for a room for your mistress, even though we all know that gets approved.
You're right. You're right. Unless, of course, your mistress works for your campaign. Am I right, Andy?
No comment. No comment, Stephanie.
Okay, I think Jess really summed up everything we needed to learn in her answer. So I'm going to move quickly on to Aaron. Aaron, what is the difference between giving and receiving?
Hello.
Wow.
What I really meant to say is, what is the difference between accepting a campaign contribution and receiving a campaign contribution? And this is way in the weeds. Okay, so they mean very different things. Okay, so here are your choices. Accepting means you acknowledge the contribution on one of the most recent ethics reports that you file with the Ethics Commission, while receiving is defined as physically touching the contribution, as in receiving the check, receiving a payment online, getting a phone call with a pledge of a certain amount of money. So again, that means accepting means I've written it down on my ethics report, while receiving means I have it in my hand or in my ear, but it's not on a report yet. B, accepting means depositing the contribution in the bank account, while receiving means physically touching it, as I've described before. C, accepting means physically touching the contribution, while receiving means depositing it in your bank account. Or D, accepting means the candidate places his, her, or their signature next to each contribution on the bank log, while receiving means a staffer has physically touched it, as we've defined before. These are a lot, and Andy's right there for you, man.
Jesus Christ, Stephanie.
Hey,
Where?
Andy, I'm not gonna lie.
I take it back, Aaron. You're getting screwed here.
Finally, someone's on my side. We got a baby in the house. We got a baby, sweet little baby.
Meow.
Werewolf bar mitzvah.
Werewolf bar mitzvah.
Andy, I'm not gonna lie. I checked out after Stephanie was in the second half of answer A. So can
Yeah.
you just tell me what all these words mean?
Yeah, that is so in the weeds.
You're welcome, Jess.
Yeah, so basically, you have to decide on whether or not you're going to keep a check from a contributor once you receive it, right? So you get a check. It could be, if you're a super staunch Republican and you get a check from, Planned Parenthood or something. They give you a check for some crazy reason, and you have until the end of the reporting period time to say whether or not you want to actually, quote unquote, accept that or turn around and send it back to them. If you don't report it on your next report, then it's considered accepted. And then you've got to put it in the bank account. You've got to report it as you haven't accepted it. So just because you've received it doesn't mean you've, quote unquote, accepted it. So I think those answers were
wonderful. You're
long.
Welcome. How dare you?
But I think if I remember correctly, the answer is A.
That one.
Yes, it's A.
Okay. Because I didn't expect me to say it all back, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
You got a COVID trophy coming to you soon.
Okay, Jess, back to you. A former candidate or former office holder has 6 years from the date of filing a final report or leaving office to dispose of surplus funds or assets. So which of the following are acceptable ways to give away your campaign dollars on hand? And I'm going to go back in time a little bit. Candidates can raise millions of dollars. It depends on the race. So I haven't looked in a while, but Senator Whitmire has like $10 million in the bank, while maybe a state rep like Celia Israel has 50,000, or some of them have 2,000. So there's a huge amount of money. And one thing that they do is they just hold on to their money and create a war chest. And that's one, so that they can use it later for a different office, or just to keep competitors from getting in on a race.
What's even crazier is that they are also allowed to invest it in stocks. And so some of them buy a bunch of stock and that just increase that money over time from stock holdings. It's nuts. It's legal, but it's crazy that they're allowed to do that.
Wow. Yeah. So this is when you give $25 to your favorite candidate, there are ways they can spend it and can't. And Andy just told you how. Okay. So these are not quite as long as Aaron's, but they're also complicated. So here are your answers. This is what to do when you're leaving office, what you're legitimately allowed to spend your money on. A, you can give them to a political party with which you were affiliated when you were last on the ballot. B, you can throw a huge retirement party for themselves as long as you invite 55% of the most recent of the contributors who gave in the last 5 years to your campaign. You can give them to certain charitable organizations, to educational institutions. You can give it back to the state to deposit in the general fund. You can contribute them to a candidate or political committee. I know there are a bunch here, and a lot of them are right and a lot of them are wrong. Okay. So you just have to pick one that's right. You can contribute, you can give them back to one or more of their contributors, or you may purchase fine art to be given to the state of Texas for at least 10 years before being returned to you for personal purposes.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm going to,
yeah, there are a lot of viable options though. I'm listening.
So which one of those feels viable to you, and which one, just tell me which one of those felt true.
Sure. Definitely giving directly back to your associated party. That feels pretty true. And then I also feel like giving to, what was before education? It was
Charitable organizations.
Charitable organizations. I would hope and feel that is true, but I don't know because charity is so people whatever. And then
You
maybe
got it.
the big party with 55% of my folks who sent me $5 for the last 5 years. That one as well.
That one is actually, I made that one up, but you can give them to a political party. I also made up giving it back to the general fund or buying fine art. And that was kind of a dig at one senator who, I think Andy knows who it was, who bought some incredible art for his campaign in state office with those campaign dollars. And man, I don't know what happened to them when he left office.
They went to a Texas Roadhouse.
Wait, like the art?
Fine art.
Okay, I'm cutting this game short because we're already at the end of our time and we want to talk to Andy some. So, Aaron, final question. Out of a random selection of approximately 1,600 sworn complaints that I looked at today, filed against candidates or office holders through the TEC since 1992, what was the largest fine assessed by the Texas Ethics Commission for failure to comply with various rules, such as not reporting what you're supposed to or spending your money incorrectly? Here are your choices. A, $250,000. B, $2,500. C, $1.7 million. Or D, $1,000. Tell me what kind of power our Texas Ethics Commission yields by telling me the amount of the fine. The highest one I found in my
Oh, the
selection.
highest one. So it's just one single fine.
Right. I randomly selected names I recognized from all 1,600, and I looked at what their complaints were. What was the highest number I saw?
So I know the last two. What are the first two?
$250,000 or $2,500.
I want to say B, because 250, like that sounds like, I don't know, an NFL player, they wore the wrong shoes. And they're like, yeah, we're going to fine them for that amount of money. The $1,000 feels like something I'd get for like, hey, you haven't been paying those 10 speeding tickets. We're just going to add an extra 1,000. C sounds a little ridiculous, but B sounds kind of intense. Like for the common man, we're like, oh shit, 2K, that's a lot, bro. But like to a politician who have like stockpiles of cash, from what it sounds like, and could easily pay my student loans a few hundred times over. I'm going to say B.
You're correct. You're correct.
My logic made no sense, but it worked for me.
All right, Amy, tell us who won.
They're tied.
No! Come on!
Well, you were doling out half points at the beginning.
She's got a good point.
She's got a good half point.
There we go. And now Amy's tied too.
Jess, what is the maximum amount of money an individual may give to the legislative or statewide candidates per year? How much can you contribute as an individual to one person? $1,000, $5,000, there's no limit, $25,000 or $250,000. You cannot ask Andy on this one.
Keep this in mind, Jess. We live in the same state as the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, who contributes a lot of money to random bullshit. So
why are you giving her help? Because you need to answer the same question, Aaron.
Oh, jeez.
I love all the help. I would say that there is no limit.
Very good. You got it. There's right, Andy? I couldn't find it in the code.
No, that's right.
There's
that's
no.
Right.
Okay.
No, there's no limit.
Okay, Aaron, here you go. Can candidates and office holders accept cash as forms of contributions? No way. Yes, but only $100 per reporting period. Yes, but only under $20 per reporting period. No, unless you don't tell anyone about it.
I'm going to say, just so that way I don't need it more time and she can take the trophy and lick it. I'm going to say no, Venmo's only.
Oh, good try. You can do $100. $100.
Dang it.
Look at you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Yay! All right. Jess is our most knowledgeable comedian in Austin. Congratulations.
I love that because I'm definitely not.
Know everything.
Good job. Okay, your name will go on this trophy, Jess. Here you go. I'm giving
What?
it to you. Everybody's name goes on it. Aaron, you
It's like the
act
Stanley
like a
Cup, it
woman
just-
in the valley. Okay, just quit complaining that things aren't fair for you.
This was amazing. I learned so much.
Thank
I
you,
think we all
Jess.
did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stephanie sounded like the Republicans making the redistricting maps. Stop complaining that it's not
Yes.
fair for you.
Right? Shut up.
It's just
God.
10 years. Dadgum.
Hey, gum. Nothing's gonna happen in 10 years. Shit. Andy, what's up?
Yes. What's up?
Thanks for sticking around all this time.
I made it through the bad jokes at the beginning, so it's all downhill from here.
How dare you? I mean, the wonderful jokes. Okay, so this is what I really want to talk to you about, because I was amazed as I was looking through those sworn statements or whatever they were called. That was the Donna Dukes one, $2,500, and she was accused of using campaign dollars for personal expenses.
Yeah.
So my question to you is,
What the hell?
Thank you. What the hell, and why bother? I mean, I don't know how
Yeah.
many TEC reports you filed, but I've done 100 or so, and we spend so much time following the rules, and you're telling me if I don't, or the Harold Dutton one where he hasn't filed a report in years, and he's like, "Yep," and they're like, "Okay, here's your 500." Well, Dutton had the $2,500 fine. Like,
Still.
why do we bother? What's up? And I know you want to sell books, but certainly there's got to be something else. And I got to take off this wig. I'm so hot. Okay.
Yeah. While you take your hair off, yeah, it's a bummer. It really is a bummer. It's the Ethics Commission has had a lot of their power and their enforcement authority stripped over the last handful of years, decade, whatever. And they've had a lawsuit going with somebody who said that they were not going to register as a lobbyist.
Oh, that's right.
For like over a decade now, probably going on a dozen years, over a $10,000 fine, and that's the max that they can do. They've had a lot of their enforcement authority stripped for one reason or another, either budgetary issues or I won't speculate more than that. But yeah, I mean it's tough, because there are definitely people out there that use the Ethics Commission process and the reporting requirements and all that as a guideline and not a law. And they do whatever they want to do to influence the outcome of an election, and then wait to have a complaint filed. And then once the complaint's filed, they fight it for as long as they need to for it to leave the news cycle. And then they settle on a $500, $2,500 fine, basically written off as a business expense, and move on with their day. And it's a heart bummer. It really is. It's depressing. But, I'll tell you this. Most of the people that I talk to that are either potential or new clients, I ask them straight up, before we talk about all your issues and all that, let me ask you this. What is your risk threshold? Because we can either go straight down the letter of the law to keep you 100% safe. It's super boring for me, but we can go straight down the letter if you're risk averse, or if you are not risk averse, then there's a lot of wiggle room. There's a lot of stuff we can do, we can play around with, and it's a much more fun academic exercise for me. And I'll tell you, like 90% of the people are like, nope, straight down the middle. I don't want to mess with it. Let's do it right. And it's like I said, it's less fun for me, but it's nice to hear that most people want to abide by it. whatever
gives
that's
me a little bit of hope. What got you interested? So you and I worked together. I don't remember what office you were in. Dunham?
I was around Dunham and Gallego and
Okay.
all those guys.
What made that transition from staffer to lobbyist? You work for the nursing association for a long time.
Yeah.
You did a lot of work on ARPA funding this session, and then you have the one and only book on ethics. What was that transition like, and kind of what are the pros and cons of lobbyist versus staffer?
So there are a couple of different sides to that. So I left the Capitol and went to I went to a law firm for a little bit and was like a lobbyist assistant and basically like, send these emails and follow me around like a puppy and that sort of stuff. I was the puppy for a little while. And then I got a job at the Realtors, the Texas Association of Realtors, and they're enormous. And I just got thrown in to, hey, by the way, you're now like not only reading all the bills and managing the bill reading process and bill analysis process for the whole Realtors Association, but we also need you to keep our political action committee safe. And they have at the time they had like $6 million in the bank. They probably have 10 or 12 by now. And they give huge checks all the time and they fundraise all the time and all that. And I had no idea what I was doing at all. I had no business being there. And so I tried to find a book to, like every area of law, criminal law, wills, whatever, they all have like their practice guides. And I showed up at the state bar annual meeting one time and there's a table and I tried to find one and I was looking around. I was like, I'll just buy it from you right now. And it didn't exist. And so I spent 2 years and had some help and pulled the book together. And it came entirely out of necessity because I didn't know what I was doing. And I was going down a lot of rabbit holes. And so
silly wabbit.
Silly wabbit, I know, going down wabbit trails. And so there's a lot more security in working for an association than there is, I think, at the Capitol, because it's just you have the security, kind of you have good benefits and everything as a state employee. You don't get paid for crap unless you're in the Senate mostly. And so there's not really the financial security there. You leave, you come out, you have a lot of the security everywhere else. But in my case, at least, I'm kind of in that like, I hate saying this, but like exennial, millennial Gen X kind of bubble right there. So like, I never really thought of myself as an entrepreneur or whatever, but I really did not want to get bogged down in an area that I didn't want to end up in. And so like, I really got narrowed in on real estate law while I was at the Realtors, and everybody's like, oh, you're a real estate lawyer. And I was like, nope, time to leave. I got to get out. I am not a real estate lawyer. And so, I went to the nurses. I was there for 4.5 years. I really liked it there. But I got jumpy again after 4.5 and started my own lobby firm and law firm. When I left there, it's scary as shit being out on your own. It is. We started 8 months before the pandemic hit, and we were doing fine. We were doing okay, and then the pandemic hit, and then it was tough, and then session hit, and it was great. And then session ended, and you plan for it and it's going to happen, but clients drop off after session ends and money starts drying up, and then it's like, oh shit, I'm glad we had some savings, like let's float ourselves a little bit. So and now like I'm
And the 7th edition is coming soon, I believe.
7th edition is coming out soon. I just sent it over. I sent the changes over to somebody on Upwork for interior book design, layout, and stuff. So that should be coming out. I don't know, probably January or so.
Well, if you need a quote, for the beginning of endorsed by Stephanie Chiarello of Over the Ledge, this is full of information. I'm happy to give you that endorsement.
Yeah, quote, this is full of information.
This
Stephanie
is
Chiarello.
a book.
This is a book.
You were talking about a book. I thought you were talking about like he had a 7th child on the way. Like I was like, oh, congrats, dude. Like, my bad. I'm up to speed now.
Well, he is a frat boy. He doesn't know where all his children are. I'm sorry. I'm going to unleash all my college rejections onto you right now.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Okay, so let's go back to ethics as I hold this wine bottle in my hand. The legislature does do an incredible amount of talking about ethics. And I know Senator Watson, and I almost feel like with Patrick, Dan Patrick, they were both pushing for ethics reform. But, spoiler alert, the legislators make their own rules about ethics. So I want you to be able to stay employed, but do you think legislators want to be ethical? That generally they want to do good and there are only a few bad apples? Or should I really quit giving a fuck when I fill out these TEC reports about, was it a meeting with staff or I went and got a pedicure? Okay, that's what I did at Superstar Nails and I don't care.
I would say definitely quit giving a fuck about the reports, because then you get a fine and a complaint and then you can hire me and it's just super beneficial for me. So,
Gotcha.
but one of the things I tell people a lot when I give presentations, and it's very macabre to say out loud, but like nothing happens quickly at the Capitol unless a lot of people die or a lot of people go to jail. And that's just true. We had a big storm. We had a big winter storm. They kicked up really quick. COVID happened. It was on the call. How about that?
Okay, fair. I'll give you that.
And so, unless it makes really big news, ethics reform is just not sexy enough for them to care about. They've got a million other things to worry about. And so
abortion, border walls, transgender sports, killing, things that are really affecting us every day.
Right. The economic issues. Yeah, we know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, the last time we had like big ethics reform in Texas was Sharpstown in the 70s, and that's when like the Speaker of the House and the Attorney General and a couple other people like went to jail for bribery and fraud and all that stuff.
Yes, Aaron.
What's Sharpstown? Because it sounds like a 80s rap group I don't think that's right.
It's a new Netflix series.
It's the new Squid Games.
It should be. All I know is something about trailers and prostitutes. Do you know more?
I don't remember. There was bribery. There were payoffs. There was corporate money going to people. Yeah, I think prostitutes were involved.
No, we were talking Tiger King earlier, but I want to know about Sharpstown.
Oh, but this. Oh, okay. I thought we were talking fratty college stuff again. Sorry. It was. I don't know. It made big news. Like they all got in trouble. They all got caught. There were, it was the equivalent of, everybody's text messages got found out, and it was just like incontrovertible. They were all screwed. And so then there was, that's when they started big ethics reform. Handful of years later, they set up the ethics commission. It didn't exist before then. Just all kinds of stuff like that.
Okay.
But nothing that big has happened. Enough that there's been a big scandal, and so it just isn't interesting enough for them to tackle. They have tried to go after a few times taxpayer-funded lobbying. Which is basically where cities and counties can hire lobbyists with taxpayer money and lobby the Capitol. They don't really like it. Handfuls of people don't really like it because the cities are by and large Democratic strongholds. And we saw this last time. Not not just this last time, a lot of times, Austin particularly is, enemy number one in terms of cities at the Capitol. They hate Austin and anything that Austin does. I mean, that's why they went after homeless stuff this time.
Yeah, we
So-
don't do ourselves any favors.
We really don't.
I want you to know about Scandal. Challenge accepted. Okay. So
You're
tell
going to
me.
scandalize the Capitol?
Yeah, totally. I'm ready to do that. So I don't know if you saw that I posted that I was thinking about running for governor. So did I break the law because I didn't file a campaign treasurer report? I didn't declare. I just said I was thinking about it, and I had like a graphic, but I
am not going to go into the weeds on this because it's super boring. But no, you didn't break any laws. Thinking about quote unquote is basically the same as like a exploratory committee. Anywhere else. No, you're good.
Okay, so let's close on this. What do you wish the common person, and I look to my fellows Aaron and Jess,
the commoners over here,
the commoners,
the proletariat.
Side note, Amy actually worked for Governor Richards. Isn't that incredible? Yeah.
It's awesome.
I was very young. It was under her that the Texas Ethics Commission was created. It used to be some other thing. And she was serious about it. If you let somebody buy you lunch for $10, you were in trouble.
Ooh.
She's not messing around. Yeah.
Before the ethics committee, it was called the Do-Rat Society.
I was going to ask Annie, what's the social committee at a frat house called?
I mean, in mine, it was the social committee.
Okay, that's what I was like. So the TC used to be called the social committee. So what do you wish the commoners knew about ethics and how we can hold our legislators accountable or help out?
I mean, honestly, it's, look, most of it is common sense. I mean, we all know what bribery looks and smells like. And if it looks and smells like it, probably don't do it, and that's the long and the short of it is that, lobbyists have to report a lot. Candidates have to report quite a bit. There are rules that are being made all the time. Like, the Ethics Commission is going to take up a rule in like a month and a half or so about legislators accepting cryptocurrency as contributions.
Oh, wow.
And
about that.
It's super weird. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it. But they're always on top of it. And yes, there are bad actors. And, look, one of the other things I usually tell people when I introduce myself to them is, hi, my name's Andrew Cates. I am a combination of the two most hated professions in the entire world, lawyer and lobbyist. And I do that because it's true. And also because, lobbyists aren't all terrible people. I am a lobbyist. I'm a registered lobbyist. I'm not a bad person. I don't work for the devil. Elected officials aren't either, and we've got a really, should I say whatever? We've got a really fucked up society right now in terms of how polarized everybody is, and how difficult it is for any of these legislators to work together on each side of the aisle. It is very, very, very hard for them. And it's hard for them because the people that they represent don't want them to. They probably want to, but they also want to get reelected. And if they want to get reelected, they're going to be called a rhino if they talk to a Democrat, and it sucks. And it's not who they are as people most of the time. It's the basis of the electorate that is pushing them in a certain direction. And so, as it goes with ethics, I mean, like I said earlier, most people want to do the right thing. 95% of people want to do the right thing. It's the people that flout it. And, it's just like everything else. It's the vocal 5% that screw it up for everybody else. So, it is easy to get pessimistic. It is easy to get just defeatist on the political process overall. But again, 95% of the people out there are really trying to do the right thing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a great final quote. Anybody? Amy, you
I have
look like
a
you want to ask
follow-up
something.
question. Yes. I was just wondering, you said we all know what ethics violations look and smell like. I'm guessing steak? Maybe? Is that...
Yeah, usually steak and wine or whiskey. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And wabbits.
And wabbits. Let's end there. Andy, thank you so much. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thanks for sticking through with us. Amy, you want to take us home?
Oh, yes. Wait. All right. Thank you so much to our special guests, Andy Cates and Jess Scott, the winner, the most knowledgeable comedian in Austin. Thank you to the loser, Aaron Salinas, and our overly benevolent empress, Stephanie Chiarello. Thank
That
you.
was a double dagger. You called me a loser and you got my name wrong.
Thank you to our brand spanking new sound engineer, Tom Booker. And just remember, Tom Booker
yourself,
loves
Tom.
you.
Show yourself.
Where
The
is
man
he?
behind the curtain. Any
left.
moment now.
He put us on autopilot.
Yay!
Here
Thanks,
he
Tom.
is, Sans hat. You took the hat off.
Oh, yeah, we all got tired. All right. Thank you, Amy Lowry, for guiding us through this episode. And a second thank you to all our sponsors. I want you to know that somebody is watching us on Twitch. I have no idea who that is, but thank you.
Yay.
I hope it's Torrance Coombs, the only guy I follow on Twit. What is wrong with me?
You're
All right.
tired.
What happens when we let the one frat boy in the show?
I know, God. All
And
right.
that's our show. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok as @OverTheLedge. Bye.
Happy Halloween.
Happy
Halloween. We've got a really cute TikTok up that y'all should check out. You know that trend right now where they're like, if ghosts aren't real, explain this. And then somebody runs by with a sheet. Well, we managed to get on the house floor. We did it.
That's cute.
So go check out our TikTok. It's really cute. Yeah. All right. We're out of here.
I love it.